Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming. Today I'm going to, as quickly as I can, go through 7 things that you need to check before you send out your next survey. We love surveys. Everybody loves surveys. Not really. But they're part of gathering information from your customers and your subscribers. But there are ways that you can improve them. There can always be improved so that you can get better response rates, actually good answers, and learn something useful from them. So consistently useful data is the goal. So there are a couple things, 7, that I'm going to talk about today that are going to help you do better surveys. So you've written the survey, right? You're like, okay, I want to know these things, this is my survey, ta-da. So before you send out, number one thing, I have notes. So, because I don't want to mess this up. So I have notes. Number one thing, what is the point? There should be a point. If I ask you, why are you doing a survey? You should be able to quickly and confidently say, so that I can learn X about these people, or so that I can improve my product, so that I can improve my program, so that it might be a little bit longer once you start digging into it, which is fine. You should, but you should be able to know why exactly you're doing the survey. And responses that are not sufficient would be because I'm supposed to be collecting data from them, or so-and-so had this really cool survey and got all these great responses, so I thought I would do a survey too. Because somebody else is doing it is not a good reason to do a survey. So much not a good reason. Next question you need to ask yourself, know who you're asking and be considerate. So what I mean by that is, does the purpose of the survey match the people you are surveying? So you've got a survey that is targeted, that you're asking your subscribers, right? You're asking people who follow you, who may or may not have necessarily bought from you. When you look through the questions, and this goes back to the purpose, if you know what the purpose is, then you should be able to say, okay, this is the purpose of my survey, so these are the people I should be asking. I should not be asking people who are on the edges of that or don't fit into the category of people I'm trying to learn from. Like, don't be lazy. You can't just say, well, I'll just send it to everybody and I'm sure. No, you want targeted, specific, know who you're asking, know why you're asking them, only send it to those people. Because if you are explaining to them while, like, hey, I'm doing this survey for this reason. If they don't fit into that makes you look bad, honestly, because then they're like, well, why are you sending it to me? You should be sending it to these other people. I don't fit in that category. Why are you sending me the survey? And then they get weird feelings about you. And maybe the next time when you have a survey, they're like, well, maybe this one isn't for me either. So know who you're surveying. Only ask the people who the survey is intended for. Number 3, this is a big one, okay? Short version is each question must earn its place on your survey. So a couple of questions. Number 3 is big, so I'm going to try to go fast. For each question on your survey, you need to ask, what am I hoping to learn from this question and why? And what am I going to do with that information? You need to be able to have a clear path of what am I trying to learn? Why am I trying to learn it? And what am I going to do with the information that I learned from this question? If you cannot answer all 3 of those, consider why you're putting that question on there. And it would be nice to know is not a good reason to put a question on a survey. Not at all. Not even a little bit. You should be able to say exactly what each question is doing for you and why it deserves to be there. So it earns its spot. Like you can have tournaments of questions. Okay, so that's number 3. Really big one. Super helpful. If you don't do any of the other ones, do that one, okay? Number 4 is respect their time. Respect the people's time. And the way you can do that is the survey as short as it can possibly be. It can be one question. It could be 2. It can be 3. You could even just call them questions. When you're below 5, you can kind of do that and say, well, I have a few questions, because you really have a few questions. Don't say I have a few questions and then send them a 25-question survey. No. People are busy. Nobody likes long surveys. You get a drop-off rate. And if you, little tidbit, if you are using any online software like SurveyMonkey, what's all the other ones? Google Forms. What's the one that everybody likes? All the other ones that everybody likes, right? There's that little submit button at the bottom of each page on the survey. Until they hit that submit button, their responses have not been recorded. So say they're like, oh, okay, sure, I'll take your survey. And they're like, okay, it's been 5 minutes. I'm getting distracted. My children are talking to me. I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting emails. Okay, I'm on question 10. How much longer is this survey? Oh, an important call came in from somebody. I've made it all the way to question 15. And then I realized that you've got 5 open-ended essay questions at the end. I don't have time to finish this. I'm done. And all the work they've done is lost if they don't hit that submit button. So keep it short. Keep it as short as possible. Do not abuse their goodwill. Keep it short. Edit. How can I make this shorter? I will say combining questions is not okay. You cannot say, well, I'll just take these 2 questions and make it 1 question. There shouldn't be ands in your survey questions. It shouldn't be, what is your favorite color and your favorite animal? I don't even care about that. Like, no. It has to be 1 question at a time. But can you edit them out? This goes back to, has it earned its place? Is it really necessary to meet your end goal? Does it really fit into what the purpose of the survey is? Or is it just nice to know, right? Number 5, don't be lazy. It's not their job to do the work. What I mean by that is be clear and specific in your questions. Use words that make answering easy. Don't make them do the work of figuring out what you meant. They should be able to go, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. If you're more specific and not vague in your language, it's going to be easier for them to quickly have an answer come to mind. And if an answer comes to mind, they answer quickly, they move on, they actually complete your survey. If they have to stop and think too much, and I understand, sometimes we're asking them to ponder ideas, but there's a difference between thinking of what their answer might be versus trying to figure out what you meant by the question, right? Totally different. Number 6, no jargon allowed. Just no. So jargon-free zone, use real language. Read each, if you need help with that and you're just stuck in it, and we get stuck in it, it happens. Read each question to a non-business friend or like your mom or your grandma or someone and adjust for clarity accordingly. If they're like, well, what does that mean? Like if you have to give a lengthy backstory for a question to your friend to have them understand what you're trying to ask, then it's not clear enough. You're using too many crazy words that are in the niche you're in that nobody else understands. It needs to be something that is super clear, because even those jargony words are loaded and people have different interpretations for them. So you want to use completely clear, plain English, normal, human, non-business language. Number 7, people are tired and distracted. Be helpful, edit some more. So here's the last one. What I mean by that, time yourself taking the survey. Take your own survey for one. Time yourself. Take it for real. See how long it takes. Let them know how long it takes. This survey is going to take you about 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes, round up, because then if it takes a little bit less, they're like, oh, it only took me 3 minutes. So, under promise, over deliver. But in terms of time. So if it takes you 3.5 minutes, say this survey is going to take you about 4 minutes to complete. That lets them know, okay, do I have 4 minutes right now? I can do this. Okay, they can fit it. It gives them more specific data. It's helpful to them. And you're probably going to find at least one typo or one weird glitch that you wouldn't have found if you didn't just sit down and read your own survey and take your own survey. So those are my, for today, top 7 things that you can do to run your survey through that checklist. And it's going to improve it by leaps and bounds. It's going to be specific. You're going to know why you're asking each question and what you're going to do with the data once you get it. You're being courteous to people by keeping it as short as possible, telling them how long it's going to take. And that's my advice for today. So have a good day, everybody. Talk to you later.